Hi. One of the early YouTube films that I ever made was on gooseanders, and this was the lake where I filmed them. It's a small town lake surrounded by a tarmac path, lots of people walking up and down and cars, and I've only been back a couple of times since, but there are gooseanders here today. There's 3 males, 3 females, but they're right down the far end and they're not being particularly tame. If you walk down there, they just swim into the middle of the lake. It's much wider at that end. This is the narrow end, and this is where I photographed them before, but they were more obliging. But what I really like about the spot is the gooseanders stood on this little weir, and it's only very tiny, but my best pictures were definitely on top of the weir. I'll show you one now. So this spot really sums up my attitude and the way I think about bird photography. I'm always looking for nice backgrounds, nice perches, then I wait for the appropriate light. Sometimes I want the sun shining, sometimes I want it overcast, and then I wait for the subject to come into that picture. And the top of that weir is wonderful. It's got a great background, the weir itself is a nice perch, and I think it's better with the sunlight shining. When you're on water, it often is, you want the colour in the water. I thought I stood a chance of the gooseanders coming close enough because I'm sheltered behind this fence. It acts as a sort of blind, but it wasn't to be, and I didn't get very many species at all. Black-headed gulls. The only thing is, I just love the setting. I think it's great. It's like an infinity swimming pool where the water just drops over the edge. And a moorhen. And a few stills pictures I took on the day. These are all taken with a Sony A1 and the 200 to 600 zoom. A lesser blackback gull, didn't actually land on the weir but on the wall next to it. Plenty of these nesting in the Midlands now in our big cities like Birmingham. And the black-headed gull in its winter plumage. I use the matrix or the evaluative metering pattern where it looks at the whole picture, so when I have a white bird like this I know I've got to underexpose, probably by 2/3 of a stop. When the Canada geese came, they came as a group, and that doesn't help. I really want to be a bit tighter in the frame than this and just have a single bird, which eventually I got, but it didn't pose very well for me. I've had quite a few questions about this lens support that I've got on, supporting the front of the lens. So just recently I managed to catch COVID, so I had my time at home and 7 days of isolating. So in the back garden I made a short YouTube film on this device. So I'll just show you that now. Today we're looking at this Smallrig lens support device. I've been asked a lot of questions about this in the last few weeks. So look at it in a bit more detail. I only want this because I'm shooting video. It's not really necessary for stills photography, but when you're shooting video, vibration through the lens is a big problem. Most of the vibration comes from your hand as you touch the pan handle. So I've talked about this before, how I have pieces of bungee attached to my pan handle and I pull on the bungee rather than touch the pan handle. Then I'm not transmitting vibration from my hands through the lens. The second way you're getting vibration is from the wind. This is like a huge sail. So if there's only a gentle breeze blowing, you can see the vibration in the lens. So this lens support is to try and reduce that. So it's got a label on the front here. It says Smallrig, and as far as I'm aware, all the pieces are Smallrig, but I didn't buy it as a complete unit. It comes in 3 separate parts. At the front, this is the lens support. Then you've got the rods, 2 rods, and then there's a base plate. And I bought each piece separately off eBay, one at a time, because I didn't really know what I was doing and I was experimenting. So maybe I bought the rods first, I can't remember, and then I bought the lens support at the front and then finally the base plate. So what I do is I start off by stripping it down and making it simpler, because at the moment we've got quick release plate on the top and underneath, because this particular tripod head is a Vinton and it only has a quick release holder on the top, so you've got to have a plate to fit it. But we'll strip it down to make it simpler for you to understand. So the first thing to do is to lower the lens support at the front. There's a simple knob here, we turn that, and that drops down, and then it's just a normal quick release plate and slides off. So we'll take it off the tripod head. So at the moment, at the bottom of the base plate, I have a quick release plate there. That's the one that goes onto my Vinton tripod head. So I'm going to take that off, and then on the top, this is actually a Manfrotto quick release holder. So I'm going to take that off again. Simplifies it, you can see what's left. You don't have to use this with a quick release plate. You could actually screw the base plate directly to your lens, and then from the tripod head, if you've got an ordinary tripod head with just a 3/8 Whitworth or quarter Whitworth bolt underneath, you could bolt it directly to that. So we'll take the quick release plates off so you can see it raw. So there it is. It's not very heavy, it's a lightweight piece of kit, a bit bulky maybe. The rods are 15mm in diameter, and in length that's about 10 inches. And I believe I bought the rods first. So then the lens support simply attaches to the rods at one end. Just two holes in there. And then that locks with these side knobs. And then that just goes up to your lens, which you can lock into place. And then at this end we have the base plate, which is the last thing that I bought, and probably the thing I found the most confusing to understand, but it's very simple. The rods just slide through here, and again you lock them into place with these on both sides. And then the base plate here, you could put a lens directly onto there. That's a 3/8 Whitworth, but you could have a quarter Whitworth as well, and that would just screw in as you normally would. But you are better off having a quick release holder up there. And then underneath, if you wanted to put that onto an ordinary tripod with a screw, you could do that. There are plenty of holes here. They are quarter Whitworth holes, but you could put that directly onto a tripod. But I've always used quick release plates, so underneath I have a quick release plate, which happens to be for the Vinton, but it could be Arca Swiss or Manfrotto, that doesn't matter. It just screws under there, and so there's lots of holes, threaded holes, and that's it. It's really as simple as that. And it does make a big difference to that vibration when shooting video. Now I have seen it where the rods are longer, they extend further back, and then there's another support under the camera body. I didn't want that, because although I do a lot of video today, I still take stills pictures as well. And when you're doing stills, you quite often want the vertical picture. So it's important that the whole thing does spin to the vertical position. I've put the website address for Smallrig into the description underneath the video, but I didn't actually buy it off that website, and in fact I found it a bit overwhelming. They do an awful lot of parts and it was hard to sort out, so I actually bought the 3 separate parts off eBay. Thanks for watching.